Hey, what's up? My name is Bryant. I'm one of the interns here at C3. I'm doing this week's devotion on the beatitudes, and the beatitude that I'll be going over is "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted," which is in Matthew 5:4. If you want to turn and look at that, as I'm kind of going through. Last week, Caleb did the first beatitude. I think he did a really, really good job. There's going to be a couple of different questions I was going to ask just about the passage that I'm doing. It's like, what does it mean to be blessed? Like, what is it to mourn? Like, what does mourning mean? And why are those who are mourning being blessed? And how are they going to be comforted in the end of all these in this passage? I think Caleb did a really, really good job last week with explaining what blessed or blessed means. It's just kind of the Lord's favor upon. So those who are mourning have God's favor, essentially. I just think that's very, very crucial for this passage, just because when those who are mourning see that something's wrong with the world and have a hope for something to come and replace it, which is what I'm going to be going over through kind of in this passage. And what I just kind of want to look at was mourning is more than just simply crying. It's more than simply just being sad. We don't really toss around that word too often nowadays, but mourning is a very deep sadness and a very deep crying for the things that are going on in the world around us. Well, I think one of the best passages, I'm going to be hopping over a couple of different passages, trying to find a better understanding for what this passage means. And I think one of the best ways to look at what mourning is looking at Romans 8:22, which we actually went over in the Group Me Bible study at C3 a couple of days ago. And I'm going to be going over two different verses, 22 and 23. And it says, "For we know that the whole creation has been groaning together in the pains of childbirth until now. And not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we await eagerly for adoption as sons and the redemption of our bodies." And I think this verse is really, really good at showing that along with us and the Holy Spirit, the whole world around us is groaning because of the fallenness of the world and the sinfulness of the world. And the last verse says, at the very end, it says, "For the adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies." And the same thing goes, that the whole world is groaning for the redemption of itself. That we are groaning that our flesh would be redeemed by God, by the Spirit, by Christ. And another place is really, really good to look at over lament and what mourning is the Psalms. And all throughout the Psalms, you can see lament and thanksgiving and exaltation. But the psalm that I wanted to look at was Psalm 88. And it's called, sometimes it's called the Black Sheep Psalm in the Psalter, just because it's the only psalm in the entire book of Psalms, or the Psalter, that has no thanksgiving or exaltation in it to God. The whole thing, the whole thing down, is just lament. And it's a man mourning about the loss and the destruction of David and Solomon and their kingdom, and the kingdom being split in half into Judah and Israel. And these are real things and real words that these people are going through and saying, and they're basically saying, like, God, why are these things happening? We don't understand what's going on. But the thing that's very beautiful about it is that they're bringing those words to God. That their mourning is not empty. It's not saying we're doomed or anything like that. No. They're bringing it to God. And they're bringing all their mourning and their hurts and everything that's going on with them to God himself. Because he's the only one that can do anything about it. And that's what I kind of wanted to get into. The second half of the beatitude I'm going through is, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." See, like, how are those who are going to be mourning going to be comforted? And the next passage I kind of look at was Revelation 21:4, because it just gives us a beautiful vision to why those who are mourning should be comforted. And the verse says, "He will wipe away every tear from their eye, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away." And that passage just really, just concretely looks at it and just says, mourning and those things will be no more. So when you are mourning, we have the hope, and the future tends to look at and just be like, this is what's going to happen. We know now that when we're here and all these really difficult things are going on, like just right now, as in like an application, just looking around, just being like COVID-19, coronavirus, it just hurts a lot of people. The different things going on in the U.S., there's a lot of hurt going on. Even within each and every one of our families and our church, there's a whole lot of hurt going on within our families, between friends, and it's just a lot of difficult things happening. And those are things that we should mourn over. We should bring to the Lord and be like, God, I don't know why these things are happening. I really don't. But I know that you are here with me, God, and I know you can help me through this, Father. And that's something that the Psalms show in Romans 8:22, that the world is groaning with us, and the Spirit is groaning with us and for us as well. But just as this beatitude says, blessed are those who mourn, that they see how the world is and how the things going on right now, but they have a hope towards the future of what Christ is going to do, that they shall be comforted because of the things that Christ is going to do. And I just pray that we kind of see these things and say, you know what, these are very difficult things going on, but we have our eyes set upon the cross and upon Christ and what he's going to do for us and what he's doing now for us. It's not just something that's looking towards the future that we're blessed, but even just looking right now and seeing what the Lord is doing in your life. Those are real blessings. Those are really good things happening between all the hard, rocky places that we've been through. And so I know this is kind of a heavy topic and a heavy beatitude, but if you stuck with me through all of it, thank you so much. That's the end of it.